Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lake Stevens Chamber of Commerce June Chamber Luncheon. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome the new President and CEO of the Economic Alliance of Snohomish County, Mr. Garry Clark. He's going to share a little bit about himself, a little bit about his vision for EASC, and maybe a little bit about how he got so good at tying bow ties, if we ask nicely. We'll get that in a second, but first I have a couple announcements. Just a reminder of our mission here at the Chamber of Commerce, at the Lake Stevens Chamber of Commerce, to build a vibrant business community. One of the ways we can make that happen is to ensure that our local businesses are aware of happenings in the greater business community of Snohomish County and beyond. Our partnership with the EASC is a primary channel for us to connect the Lake Stevens business community with the rest of the county, state, and the world. By sharing information and programs provided by the EASC, the Lake Stevens Chamber is bringing opportunities to you, our local business leaders. Opportunities for you to become involved in our chamber are available now as well, and we invite you to, if you're interested in becoming a committee member, helping organize our various events throughout the year, or becoming a sponsor, perhaps of a luncheon like this one, please reach out to me here at my email, director@lakestevenschamber.com, or give me a call. I want to take a moment now and thank our gold investors for 2021, including Ace Hardware of Lake Stevens and Community Transit, and our silver investors, Wells Fargo, Waste Management, Heritage Bank, First Financial Northwest Bank, Marysville Toyota, and our newest silver investor just joining this week, Rehabber Extraordinaire. Thank you to all our members and investors for continuing to support the Greater Lake Stevens Chamber of Commerce. Normally, I continue on now with a bunch of event announcements, but our guest today has another engagement at the top of the hour, so we want to go ahead and save all that brouhaha for after his segment, and we'll jump right in. Today, we welcome the new President and CEO of the Economic Alliance of Snohomish County, Garry Clark. He recently served as President and CEO of the Greater Fremont Development Council in Fremont, Nebraska, which is tied to the Greater Omaha Chamber of Commerce. He has been in economic development field for over 13 years, and his recent accomplishments included being awarded the Midland Business Journal's 40 Under 40 Award for his aggressive workforce housing efforts in Fremont, Nebraska. He received his BA in Sociology from Dana College in Blair, Nebraska, and his Master of Science in Urban Studies and Public Administration from the University of Nebraska in Omaha. He's an accomplished athlete, holding on record 11 school records for Dana College and was their first ever male national champion. He's a published author, and he presented at the 2019 TedxOmaha Talk at Creighton University. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause for the new President and CEO of Economic Alliance of Snohomish County, Mr. Garry Clark.
All right. Hey.
Thank you for being here today, sir. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come and share with us today.
Thank you very much. She had me when she was 19, young African-American queen, skin held melanin tight like the river Nile. She started out uptown next door to the Harvard Street hustlers, busters hollering at her backside while she carried her 2 kids to a bus ride. So am I a hustler or a husker? Pops traveled through cocaine surpluses and peacemaker rallies, got smoked by herb near the alley, running through streets like track meets from Cardoza High to the valley. But this hustling life ain't free, and all the dope fiends would holler, Ricky! See, I come from a long line of slaves who wouldn't stop running for freedom. Got whipped by the whip so bad, the master felt bad in freedom. So am I a hustler or a husker? She called it quits after having 6 kids straight near the Tobacco Road. Looked at Henry and said, who needs them? Bled through the world with a heart so big her 4-foot frame freed them, while the cop held a loaded gun and screamed, Ricky, who needs him? See, it's a tricky life they led, from rural roots to an urban scene, and you wonder why the American life is a dream. Vera May found herself with sugar and near death, whispered in his ear, I love you, and sent him to college in the heartland with all she had left. I remember the burial as if it never left. Grandpa Hip said, don't take no wooden nickels, but take everything else. Almost missed my flight waiting on an addicted driver. Didn't have any money for luggage, but Pop said, son, you're a survivor. So am I a husker or a hustler? I seldom know the truth, but I know my urban legend helped to free my rural roots. All right, good afternoon, folks. I always like to start off with a little spoken word that I've used in my TED Talk as well, and across the country when I give presentations. So a little snippet of my background. I'm originally from Washington, D.C. As Matt mentioned, I have been in the economic development realm for just over, I'm inching upwards of 14 years now, and it feels crazy to even say that. But I have the distinct pleasure of being the new president and CEO of Economic Alliance Snohomish County, which I am just honored and thrilled. I just recently moved and relocated my family here. We live in Snohomish, which isn't that far from you all. And we are just excited about the possibilities here in Snohomish County. I will say that we did take a look at several homes in Lake Stevens before we selected our home. So I just want you to know we were close to selecting a home in Lake Stevens. But you all know what the market looks like. And so as soon as we turned around, that house was sold, and the next one, and the next one. So we found another home in Snohomish. I will share a screen here just to jump into a brief presentation. And then my hope is that we could have a deeper conversation and, some Q&A. So if you all can see my screen, I'll see a wave. Okay, we're good to go.
Good to go.
All right. Okay. So let me get myself oriented here. All right, so this is me. A few things about me. I've already mentioned kind of my spoken word. I was lucky enough to receive the Midland Business Journal's 40 Under 40 award just a few years ago, partly tied to my workforce housing efforts that took place there. We ended up raising initially about $2 million in housing funds, and then we jumped above that and actually raised $5 million around the time I was departing. We created a revolving loan fund to incentivize developers to do workforce housing. And in my mind, that encompasses all of housing. So just one of those things that I'm definitely passionate about. As Matt mentioned, I'm also a published author. You can see that there. And then one of the things most people aren't aware of is that I'm a part of a national rural Economic Developers Association, which is called NREDA, and I serve as the president this year. So we work with the federal offices every year, talk about policies for rural and urban communities alike, and it's just one of those developer places where you can learn a lot. So one of the things you all are probably wondering is, what are we doing at EASC? And how does it impact Lake Stevens? So since I've come on board late February, and I've been actually flying back and forth until recently where we secured a home, we came up with a concept which is tied to pillars, right? Most of you probably already know the work that we do in advocacy, business retention expansion. Our goal under my leadership is to push a more robust relationship with the chambers and our small businesses. And so Matt is one of those people that I'll be communicating with on a regular basis to find out your needs and things that we can do to collaborate in the future. And then workforce. We know that workforce is key to us having quality of life. And so we've added quality of life as our new pillar, and that's going to encompass housing, transportation, DEI work, and a few other items as well. We will be looking for subcommittee individuals, people who want to be a part of that committee to help us kind of navigate that. And then last but not least, business attraction. We just started our VP of Economic Development, who is Terry Batuello. She comes from the Port of Everett, and she started just last week. So Terry is off to the races right now. She will be reaching out to your community because as we get projects, we want to be very transparent about those projects and make sure that your economic developers are part of that process. So Lake Stevens, what do you want? I think this is kind of my question as I try to learn as much as possible about the communities in the area. I want to know, what are your needs? And I was lucky enough to meet at a very cool press conference with your mayor, Brett, and just got some great conversation there, and an invitation to come and check out what Lake Stevens is all about. So I look forward to that. But we are pushing our 5-year campaign. And so what I showed you back here was our focus for 2021 to 2025, but it's really been since 2020 that they've had the 5 pillars, and the addition of the 6th pillar is really where I've come into play. So we will be rolling out an investor packet that shows basically our goals for each of those pillars, how we hope to collaborate, and then some metrics as well. So my goal is to come to you all and find out, how do we help your needs on a regional perspective, on a county perspective? What can EASC do to make sure that you all are successful? Because when Lake Stevens succeeds, we succeed. Additionally, that means that, hey, what I've learned is that we are the ADO for the county. And so that means that there is a pipeline of projects. And I kind of mentioned that briefly. And this slide simply shows that our goal is to provide a pipeline to do monthly partnership meetings. And by partnership, that means Lake Stevens and other communities to be a part of that, to talk about the projects that we're working on. Also, we want to make sure that, as Matt knows, we continue this BRE effort, that we are collaborating on those efforts, and we're not pulling from one another, but we're saying, hey, let's see what's our total number per year for BREs in the county. Can we have a goal there, a targeted goal, and work together? What I'm familiar with in my previous place and location was BRE blitzes, where you partner with, say, a Matt or someone else, and we have about 8 to 10 individuals who go out and get at least 40 to 80 blitzes done in 2 days. And you collaborate with each other, and it's just a good, robust feeling to have. So we are moving in that direction. We want to make sure that our investment is clear, that you know what you're getting as an ROI from working with EASC. And so our team is moving in that direction as well. So what we know about our industry sectors, and what I'm continuing to learn, is that it's becoming more and more diverse, but starting out, we know where our bread has been buttered in the past. And so we know aerospace is key there, but we're starting to see some trending upward levels of manufacturing, some unique entrepreneurship efforts, and then we're starting to see tourism and our food services kind of heighten back up. So as the pandemic rolls out and we continue to kick COVID's butt, we're starting to see a rebound in certain things. And so our goal here is to support Snohomish County and as well Lake Stevens in pushing that effort. So what you all have seen probably is where we were unemployment rate wise as a county based on March numbers, but we've also seen kind of a shift take place in the last few months. We know March feels like eons ago right now, considering where we are today. We know that our manufacturing jobs numbers have increased, and our needs for employment have skyrocketed. But as a total organization, we see ourselves as a part of your voice. So the communication that Lake Stevens has from a legislative level, from a municipal level, and from a chamber level, we want to make sure that we know what your needs are and make sure that we are helping to amplify that voice. So in alignment with our business sectors, engaging the community, my job going forward is to be involved in all of those places. Another item I wanted to talk about is, with me coming on board, that does mean a little bit of changing and shifting. I am not the traditional CEO. I am, as you all may have seen if you follow me on LinkedIn and other places, I have my own style. And so we have added staff here to kind of complement that. And we are still currently looking for a what we're calling government relations director. And that'll be our advocacy focus. So that opening closes on June 11th. And then we are about to announce our investor relations director, which I can share with you guys if you guys keep it quiet. It's not really hush hush, but One of our previous workers, Nicole Amor, will be coming back to serve as that director. Okay, so COVID recovery. Well, as I mentioned, your impressive mayor and I went out and we had a press conference about our needs to deal with transportation, our infrastructure. And so we continue to push that effort legislatively on the local, state, and federal level. And so EASC will continue to support Lake Stevens in that capacity. We were able to actually roll out about $2.7 million in CARES funds to businesses in the last CARES fund rollout. But we also found ourselves in a place where we know that the county is setting up to ramp up another round of funding. And so that means, how can we make sure that Lake Stevens and its businesses are in line and ready to get that support as well. So let's continue to have the lines of communication open as that comes up this summer and early fall. This is just a general list of some of our investors. It doesn't include all of them. If you're looking for Lake Stevens, it's not listed on this list per se, but you can see we have kind of that note that says includes a selection from our investors. So we've kind of moved away from the member direction and more titles as investors. Some of the things I've thought about is, what's the ROI for you? So direct support for BRNE and attraction engagement on a monthly level. We'll also have an opportunity through the leadership of Terry Bacciuello is a weekly meeting for those who want to engage on just project specific items, but those are going to be the economic development professionals. We want to make sure that there's synergy with our 6 pillars that I shared with you earlier. We think that there's a heightened interest of development and that Lake Stevens should benefit from continued marketability. And what I've seen, which is crazy, is that your population numbers, I mean, they just skyrocketed. I think it was something like 300% or something in the last 10 years. And I'm just looking at this number like, wow. So how are we marketing Lake Stevens as a place to be? I mean, and we're not just talking about in Snohomish County, but we're talking regionally and globally. We want to make sure that Lake Stevens is heard from. This is tremendous. And across the country, there are only a select few places in the country that even rival those numbers. And so how are we telling that story, and why is it happening? Why do people want to be in Lake Stevens? And are we preparing ourselves? And I know with the leadership of your mayor and your chamber leader that these things are being taken into consideration. I'm just here to be a support system in that vein. Additionally, we want to make sure that we collaborate again on any economic development planning that Lake Stevens has. Because if there's a way for us to create incentives separate from what we generally get from the state perspective, let's look at that. Okay, so I've talked a little bit about staff updates. One thing I did not mention is that we are going through a rebrand as we speak, and on Thursday, which is actually tomorrow, we actually get to roll out our first look. It'll be our first look at our new logo. And our new direction. And we have a slogan attached to it that I hope that Lake Stevens likes and wants to be a part of that push. This is going to be really exciting. We're also doing a website update. And so if there's any thoughts of collaboration, Matt, that you feel, hey, I want to make sure that if there is a spot for local chambers, that there is a direct link to your website and your efforts. So we want to make sure that we amplify your voices there. And then obviously our regional partnership, we want to make sure that we strengthen that, but we realize that we could be the go-between if Lake Stevens or other communities feel as though they want to be a part of GSP. We could drive that funding through EASC. So those are just some basic things that I've thought about in my time so far. Last but not least, before we get into some Q&A and maybe some bow tie tutorial stuff, we have on the 10th, as I mentioned, tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. We will be diving a little deeper into our presentation on our annual report. And it's our 10th anniversary for EASC. And I know a lot of you have been involved and engaged and helped to push this effort. So I want to thank you for that. Okay, I have wrapped up just the basic pieces of my presentation. I'm going to jump out of this and then what I'd like to do is take some quick questions, Matt, and then after that, if we get a little bit ways down the road, I would love for you all to work with me on a little bow tie tutorial.
Thank you for that presentation, Gary. That's fantastic. A lot of great information in there, and we appreciate your commitment to the partnership that the local chambers and EASC have, and as well as the cities and all that stuff. So thank you very much, and we appreciate that. Anybody got any questions for Gary? We'll go ahead and open up the floor. Just kind of, if you want to unmute yourself and say hi, or you want to raise your hand in the chat box, that's fine too. If you don't want to say it out loud, you want to type in the chat box, you can do that, and we can. I'm happy to read it. So let me know. Any questions for Gary? Who wants to go first? No, Brett.
I'll jump in. I'm not.
All right.
I got a question for you, Gary. So, as you know, this ARPA money that we're getting, the city of Lake Stevens is getting $9.6 million. The county, I think, is roughly $166 million. What do you see as EASC's role in helping to make sure that we have a strategic plan that's coordinated in spending that money so that we're not just hitting band-aids, but truly having projects that have this that we see in 10 and 20 and 30 years, providing jobs and economic stimulus to our region?
Thank you for that question, Mayor. I think clearly we've been in talks with the county for the last few months about where these dollars should go from their perspective. And we've pitched ideas and concepts. What I can tell you is, as they secure and finalize that, which they have not yet, we know that we're behind the scenes trying to help push that. When we talk about BR&E, how are we doing our business retention and expansion efforts long term? And to make sure that we are also looking at what I said earlier, marketability. Are we providing funds long term that can sustain some of our local communities and how they brand themselves? And then we know that these funds need to touch our small businesses, right? And so we want to collaborate with the county on that level as well. There are some pieces and keys and cogs that I think we need to make sure that are robust. I think these funds will give a little bit longer draw to get out. So I've heard that, and I think our previous round was a snapshot, right? And it was kind of a Band-Aid piece. We're just throwing those funds out. I think this is going to give us the opportunity to create an actual program for different components of our economic development focus. From an EASC perspective, we see BR&E, we see attraction, we also see entrepreneurship and workforce as key components there. But we don't want to remove ourselves from that small business loan assistance. We don't want to remove ourselves from the tourism opportunities. And if we're talking about incubators of food security and those types of things, let's continue to push that. But infrastructure is also a key component to that. Those are the things that I would say we are pushing for behind the scenes.
Okay, good stuff.
Excellent. Thank you, Brett. Anyone else have a question for Gary here while we have him? No? Just delve right into the bow tie demo?
Yeah, I'm totally game for that, because I feel like that's what we're really here for. Let's be honest. I mean, when you saw the invitation, that's what we were here for, right?
That's right. That's right.
All right. Okay. So first things first, Any self-respecting bow tie extraordinaire gets one of the authentic ties, all right? So I'm gonna loosen up my shirt here. Look, people are joining just for the bow tie.
just for the bow tie demo. See, people know.
People
They
are
know.
texting and it's getting out there, right? So first and foremost, I'll tell you why and how I started wearing a bow tie. And I haven't looked yet, but I want to know if there is a Lake Stevens location to purchase authentic bow ties. And if you know of where it is, let me know. And if not, then that's an opportunity for us, Matt.
That's right.
All right. First and foremost, that's right. First and foremost, I always like to make sure that whatever bow tie you get, that it's flexible, right? You have to make sure that your neck size is appropriate if you're going to do an authentic bow tie. So always want to check to make sure that your size fits what you're working on. And you can check that quickly by just, throwing it on, wrapping it around. Can I breathe? Okay, that's good. All right, so that's usually my check. Next part and component is even. Just like a regular necktie, you want it even. So I wrap it around my neck, right? I got the first component of it is hands here. The first move, ladies and gentlemen, the first move is a cross. It's simple. Look at that. Isn't that special? It's easy. That's it. And then with the cross, you have to fold. Now you're doing just a basic fold. See that? It's a basic fold. Boom. Now, if you get there, I mean, that's half the battle, ladies and gentlemen. I'm afraid to say this is really easy. Then, after you have that folded, and we're looking at our destiny right in our eyes here. We got the left side and the right side right there. We fold. See that? See that quick fold? We fold the thick part. Okay? Fold. Boom. All right. Now we're here. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is kind of a point of no return. Once you fold here, there's no going back. You're full bow tie now. So now you grab the other side. You lift it over the folded side. You try to find that middle part. See that middle? And now this is the magic behind bow tie. It's happening behind the scenes. Not everyone sees it, but I'm trying to show you. All right. You're going to tuck in that empty space. And as I lift up, now you start to nurture that bow tie a little bit, right? So now we're squeezing and you've got some restraint there. And then you pull until you're happy. If you can't breathe, then you got to loosen it up. But you shake a little bit, you pull, put those hands down, put your collar down. And now you look like a sharp, debonair, astute individual. You are astute and you are ready to move on. So ladies and gentlemen, Lake Stevens, you all now know how to tie a bow tie.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you, Garry. We appreciate you being a good sport with that. That was awesome.
Garry, I'm sorry you wasted your time on that because I'm never wearing a bow tie. I'm never wearing a tie. But
Hey,
I always did wonder how you do it. So thank you.
I appreciate that honesty there. Hey, it's not for everyone. I understand that, but I do appreciate you all being good sports. I can tell you that I have been given so much support so far in my first 5 months here. And our next steps are to further collaborate with you all. So please don't be afraid to reach out to us. My information, you can quickly find it. I hope to be invited to an in-person event whenever that happens, Matt. Feel free to invite me and I'll show up, whatever it may be. I want to be immersed in the Lake Stevens atmosphere and find out what those top players are. So please feel free to invite me.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Any other questions for Garry while we've got him here? No? Excellent. Sweet. Short and sweet. Well, you you definitely, you must have informed us with everything we needed to know in your presentation and your bow tie demo. That was fantastic. So again, I appreciate you kind of taking the time out of your schedule to come talk to us today. Give us a little bit of behind the scenes of you and your bow tie action. And and we look forward to, as I said, continuing the partnership that we've forged with the EASC and going forward. So.
All right. Well, thank you, Matt, and thank you, everyone else. I will take off, and I am really thankful for the opportunity. So take care and bye, bow tie.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate it. Okay. Is there anything else anyone would like to discuss before I kind of run out? We'll be a little short on our luncheon today. That's all right. That works out. Darren, the chairman of our board of directors is here today. Darren, welcome. Glad to see you. A couple other board members I'd like to point out. Frank Mesa is on our board. Juanita Williams, Kim Daughtry, Monica Christofferson, Lana Larson, and Marcy and Kelly are both here as well. So thank you all for being here today. We thank you, Mr. Mayor, for being here as well. Thank you for joining us today. Anyone have anything else, any other announcements, anything else like to say? Brett.
Hey, Matt, I appreciate it. I'd just like to put in a plug for my recently formed Community Advisory Council. What I'm looking for is an advisory council that would meet with the mayor at least once a month. And I'm looking for a diverse group of people within that council, whether that's economic position, whether that's race, whether that's gender, whether that's just, I'm really looking, whether you're a wakeboarder or a ski person, I'm looking for a wide variety of diversity from our community that can sit in on that council and listen and engage on what we're doing and where we're going within the city, and provide input into that process. I just see it as another opportunity to be a part of the process. So if you would like to be a part of it, that would be great. If you know somebody out there who would like to be a part of that, even better. If you go on our website, you'll see an application for the Community Advisory Council. And we're taking applications, I think through the 5th of July or 6th of July. So there's my plug. Love to have people apply.
Sounds good. Thank you very much for bringing that up and then for instilling that council. I think that's going to be a big benefit to the city, especially once it gets rolling and helping you out. So very good, sir. Any other announcements for the good of the order today? Okay. I want to remind everybody about the farmers markets going on this afternoon and every Wednesday through the rest of summer, through the end of September, really. And it was a great start last week to the market. I got a chance to get down there, visit our couple of vendors that are our chamber members, as well as the market, as well as the chamber member. So exciting things going on down there. If you get a chance to get down there, they've adjusted a little bit of spacing to take up some space on Main Street there in front of Market, between the Jay's Market and the Mill, to host the food trucks, and I think that'll be a big asset to the space. So do head down there this afternoon. Weather looks like it's gonna be just about perfect, not too hot, so it should be nice. Other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and roll us out of here, I think. Yeah, we'll get that going. Just a couple more quick things here before we go. Just a quick reminder of our networking events this month. Next Wednesday, June 16th, we invite you to join us for networking after hours. We're finalizing some details on the location for this event. We had an idea of how it was, we had it kind of set up, and then we realized that's really not gonna work. So we're making a quick audible on this one, and I hope to have details no later than our newsletter tomorrow afternoon for that information. I also want to invite you to join us tomorrow. I don't have a thing on the slide for it. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. we are doing a ribbon cutting for Gun Nation down in downtown there next to Creekside Pizza and Sahara Pizza on Creekside. down in that little complex. New storefront for an operation that's been in business for a while, but he's got a storefront now. Gun Nation, 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, ribbon cutting. Join us if you can. Following Tuesday, on Tuesday, June 22nd, that's not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after, we'll do our morning mingle, and this will still be held via Zoom. We are going to run that event from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. So we hope you will join us. Keep an eye on our website, LSChamber.com, and as well as the newsletter, as I mentioned, for finalized details on both our networking events. And we hope you can join us. Just another quick plug for the Safe Start kits for small businesses that was put together by the Snohomish County Department of Emergency Management. I do have quite a few of these left over, and if you are interested in one, if you're a small business in the Greater Lake Stevens area, chamber member or not, don't have to be a chamber member to pick up one of these, let me know. Reach out to me via my email address that I mentioned before, director@LakeStevensChamber.com, or give me a call here at the office or on my cell. These kits are free, and they include all these items that you see here on the screen, including the masks. There's both reusable and disposable gloves. 2 of the big bottles of hand sanitizer, and that infrared thermometer is all included in that box there. So I'll even deliver it to you if you'd like. So give me a call if you're interested in one of those or need one of those or a couple of those, let me know. Also want to remind you about our travel to Greece. We've set up a affinity travel program through Adventura World. It's coming up next March. And if you're interested in more information, we're having an info session on June 17th. That is a week from tomorrow. So Thursday, June 17th at 12 noon. That'll be via Zoom. This is a pretty good package, you guys, for just a little over $3,000. It's 9 days, 7 nights, all inclusive, includes airfare from SeaTac, hotel. There's meals, seven breakfasts, 7 dinners, and 6 lunches. So includes basically your food the entire trip you're there. And if you do reserve your spot before October 29th, they're cutting $100 off the price, as well as throwing in one of the tours, the optional tours, which is the Delphi tour. You'll see the Delphi there. So really great deal on this. And like I said, information session coming up next week. Check our website. If you can scan the QR code there on the screen, or go to the website and find the link under the events little menu tab on the left-hand side that says travel, and that'll take you to the information about our Greece trip coming up in March of 2022. Once again, I'd like to thank our silver investors, Wells Fargo, Waste Management, Heritage Bank, First Financial Northwest, and Marysville Toyota, as well as our newest silver investor, Rehabber Extraordinaire. Our gold investors, Community Transit and Ace Lake Stevens. Thank you again for joining us today to hear from Garry Clark, the new CEO and President CEO of the Economic Alliance of Snohomish County. Hope you all have a fantastic rest of your week. Keep an eye out too, just real quick, like before we go, coming up on on August 11th, we're going to be having our member appreciation barbecue. We're setting it up here in Luncheon Park, where we got some big announcements coming up. So keep an eye out for that, but put it on your calendar now. August 11th, our luncheon will be here in Luncheon Park. We'll be doing a barbecue. So look forward to seeing you all then, and seeing you hopefully at one of our networking events. Thank you everybody for coming today, and have a great afternoon and the rest of your week.